I wanted to take a moment to share with you some tricks for sentence imitating that might help you create more accurate imitations. That is, sentence imitations that more closely match the types of words in the model sentences. So, the first trick I want to show you is to try chunking the model sentence into smaller parts. That way, instead of tackling an entire sentence all at once, you're breaking it up into some more doable parts. And the best way to do this is just to look at the sentence and try to divide it into meaningful phrases or meaningful pairs of phrases. So let's take a look at this first sentence that I have here. Charles ate the French fries knowing they would be his last meal. Really, the divisions can be kind of arbitrary. It's just whatever you like. Our sentence starts with the subject verb pair Charles ate. So I'm going to make that one chunk. And then the French fries, that's kind of the object of what he ate. So I'm going to make that another chunk. Knowing they would be his last meal, I'm going to isolate this little participle here, knowing they would be his last meal. Let's just divide up the subject verb pair from the complement. Okay, there's a lot of different ways you could break this sentence up, but that seems like some meaningful divisions to me. Charles ate the French fries knowing they would be his last meal. Now I can do my imitation by creating or by choosing new parts of speech based on each of those chunks. And so let's start doing that here. We'll just kind of create one live, and I'm going to color this green to distinguish it. So instead of Charles ate, I need a noun and a verb. So how about Jeremy drove, something like that. Okay, I'm going to keep my little dividing mark in there just to help me know that I'm moving on to the next part here. So what is the thing Jeremy drove? Well, in our model sentence, Charles ate the French fries. The is a determiner. French is acting as an adjective here, and fries is a noun. So I need a determiner, adjective, noun. So how about something like Jeremy drove his ailing van. Ailing is a nice adjective, meaning something that is feeble, or in this case, the van is breaking down. It's not working very well. Then the next part, that's pretty simple there, knowing. So I need another ing verbal there. And so in my model sentence, knowing is something that Charles is doing. So something that Jeremy is doing while driving. He drove his ailing van, hoping. How about hoping? Yeah. And what is he hoping about his ailing van? Well, in our model sentence, we have they would be. So we have a noun and then an auxiliary plus a linking verb. So to make this as close as possible, I need another noun, auxiliary, and some kind of verb. But to really make this sentence match, I really need another linking verb. And I don't want to repeat myself. So in our original sentence, they is kind of referring back to French fries. So I'll make this referring back to van. Hoping it might be something like that. And then we have his last meal. Yeah, hoping they would be his last meal. Hoping his van might be, or hoping it. We don't have to refer back to van at all here. We could just refer to the time in general. Hoping it might be the final journey, something like that. Okay, yeah, so match that final part. And once again, I've got a determiner, adjective, or it's two determiners really. His last meal. Yeah, last is acting as a determiner. So that's good. That's what I have here. A determiner, final is another determiner, and then the noun journey. All right, let's try another one here. Yeah. Happiness can be found in the depths of chocolate pudding. So let's see. I'm going to just start by isolating the subject this time. Happiness by itself can be found. That's a nice little verb phrase, in the depths of chocolate pudding. That makes kind of some sense there. I've got my subject by itself, my verb phrase by itself, and then two prepositional phrases. So let's imitate that. Now, my subject in the model sentence is an abstract subject, a concept, happiness. I don't have to use an abstract subject, though. I'm going to make my sentence about a person because I think those are the easiest to just come up with. So, Wesley. There's a fun name. Happiness can be found. Wesley, what? I need another verb phrase with a main verb plus an auxiliary. In my previous sentence, I just chose a different auxiliary. I changed would be to might be, but I don't have to keep that be. I just need it to be another auxiliary plus a verb. So I'm going to say Wesley will feast. Yeah, will is an auxiliary there. All right. Then I need a prepositional phrase because in my model sentence I've got in the depths, and that's in our original sentence telling us kind of where or how it is found. So I really need a prepositional phrase that's kind of doing the same job. It's telling us where or how he will feast. Let's see. In the depths we have preposition, determiner, noun. So I'm going to do preposition he will feast on his friend. Let's make this gruesome. He's a cannibal or a vampire or something. Wesley will feast on his friend. Then in our model sentence, we have of chocolate pudding, which is modifying depths. It's telling us what kind of depths we're dealing with here. So I need a prepositional phrase that's going to tell us more about friend. All right, once again, we've got preposition, this time adjective instead of determiner. Preposition of, adjective chocolate, and pudding is the noun. So his friend from high school. There we go. Okay, let's do one more. This one's a little bit longer of a sentence, this last one here, but we're going to apply the same principles. As the asteroid hurtled toward Earth, Becky was upset her dentist appointment had been canceled. All right, so we'll just break this up. As the asteroid hurtled toward Earth, Becky was upset. Let's do the whole subject verb pair. Her dentist appointment, there we'll just do the subject of that clause, had been canceled. There we go. I think that's good. All right, so we've divided into some meaningful chunks. Let's start with as the asteroid. Honestly, you could start anywhere in this sentence if you really wanted to. You could start right here by imitating the main clause and then work your way backward into the rest of it. So but I'm going to start at the beginning here. As the asteroid hurtled toward Earth. So we have a prepositional phrase, as the asteroid, preposition, determiner, noun. So how about while our determiner kangaroos. There we go, something like that. While our kangaroos, and then we have hurtled toward Earth. So it's a past tense verbal, an ed verbal. We don't have to keep it past tense, but we need some verbal that this asteroid is doing or that the kangaroos are doing. And then we've got a prepositional phrase, toward Earth, just a preposition plus a noun. So while our kangaroos jumped, that's what kangaroos do, right? Jumped. What did they jumped? Where did they jump? They jumped for joy. There we go. While our kangaroos jumped for joy. I'm going to add my comma in there before I forget. Now we get into our main clause. Becky was upset. So I need a single noun plus a linking verb plus an adjective. So Becky was upset. I don't want to repeat my linking verb there, so I'll change the was to were or are or is. Let's see. While our kangaroos jumped for joy, I'll say some were afraid. There we go. Yeah, some were afraid. So Becky was upset. What was she upset at? Well, her dentist appointment had been canceled. So this next chunk here, determiner, adjective, noun. So I need a determiner, adjective, noun. That's the thing that some of the kangaroos were afraid of. So determiner, some were afraid. Their fragile egos. That's fun to think about kangaroos having egos. Some were afraid their fragile egos. So then we have the last part of our model sentence, had been canceled. So we've got had been is another verb. We've got an auxiliary had with the linking verb been, and then canceled. Oh, that's actually part of the verb as well. I'm sorry, that's the whole verb, had been canceled. Canceled is the main verb. Had been is our auxiliary here. So we need a past tense makes sense here. Had been canceled. They're afraid their fragile egos would be shattered. The shattering of egos, something like that. Okay, and that is a little video on how to do sentence imitations really well. Really, out of all three of these sentences, I only have one verb repeated, this be in the very first sentence, that I could go back and fix, but that's close enough for mastery. Yeah. So hope that helped. Please contact me with any questions, and I'll see you in class.